Yeah, fine.
You'll probably see, if this camera's any good, you can probably see every sweat follicle on my head.
Cool.
That's brilliant. We saw Radiohead at not the gig, the like venue we intended to, but in Manchester all the same.
Yeah. They put it into Old Trafford Arena, the cricket pitch, instead because of the bombings. Slightly unfortunate, but what can you do? I don't know.
The way you phrase that sounds so insensitive, but we're going to move on anyway. We were saying, once we were choosing our seats, it would have been good to have a more intimate place around the stage.
Like if we were closer and I could be more involved and abrasive, but I went down at the end to enjoy that for a few of the songs. One on In Rainbows, I think it was Body Snatchers.
It was towards the end of like the third encore they did. They did like either, let me check, encore one. Okay, no, they did 2 encores. We got there relatively early as well. We managed to catch both of the other people in the lineup, the openers, but even still, the front and nearer to the front were just packed out. There was no way we could get through. But I wanted the most like symmetrical sort of seating or standing position we could get.
I think the best places in there were either right at the back, symmetrical to it all, or right at the front of the like sound desk bit. Right. So you had this railing that disconnected the front lot of fans to the back lot, and I would have been happy being at that railing because then you don't have to worry about everyone around you. Especially as I'm tiny, so I wouldn't be able to see a thing. But when you were at the back, one thing that was great, and my dad said this when everyone was singing Karma Police at the end, it was just washing around because of the oval shaped ground. I just started so badly. You could hear it even like these short delays going off, which weren't what the mixer was causing. It was from the ground, especially on like snare drum hits and claps.
Okay.
What?
No, I just feel like... To talk about a distance though, we were so far away because we were right at the back.
We could still see them. I could see them.
We could see them. We were as far back as you could be without reserved seating. What we were seeing was actually delayed in what we heard.
Well, I guess it was the other way round.
Our sight.
So what we were heing was
light travels faster than sound.
When the crowd was clapping, we were hearing the clap before we saw them do that over their head.
It was weird though. It was like close to an offbeat. Every clap was like close to an offbeat.
And unless everyone was out of time,
somehow. To talk about the actual set, which is what we're here to talk about anyway. Rowan just mentioned about the sort of reverberation in the space, and that was like right from the get-go, like just really beautiful to hear. They started with Let Down, like one of their brighter...
it just really worked for songs that were lush.
Definitely.
And full. Especially in the song All I Need, there was a good example of this where even though it didn't sound great from our positioning because the bass was so overwhelming and it was slightly muffled from that, but I think it sort of made the experience better for me because it sounded so big because of the space we were in.
Matched the size of said space.
But it was working really well on harmonies between the band.
Oh man.
Really well. All stacking and stacking even more from...
Those were some of my favourite moments of like just how great the sound was.
Just bouncing off every single
and I love these moments on record. I think what we were seeing as well just enhanced like the visceral nature of like their passionate performances as well. Like you hear that on record with these songs, but to get that element on a visual level,
it's just so amazing. I find it so intriguing watching Tom York. He just looks like he's dying, but but he's jumping around like a kid, and it's great.
I was expecting variations in like how the live sound was compared to record, obviously, and considering they've been playing these songs for years now,
I expect them to do something. They'd be
something
pretty bored.
I mean, they've got to indulge themselves a bit to keep like their enthusiasm up.
Yeah, there were just a lot of harmonic changes. I heard a few chord changes, alternatives, some melody alterations.
A lot of these, I think it caught the audience, including me, off guard a bit when Tom York would just straight up change like a chorus, like the lead melody of a chorus from his vocal.
Yeah.
But like some of the variations, well, one in particular, I think went over terribly. They just switched up the song Idiotech. It started off just like a cool, punchy, groove-centric live rendition of one of my favourite songs from Kid A, but just what happened to it as it progressed, I guess they tried to fold it in with the punchier nature with all those other hard-hitting songs.
So it sounded like grime.
Yeah, because like Tom York started rapping and just none of us expected it, none of us liked it. All the lyrics were the same, but just the harmony, because of that like droning synth pad, gets sucked out. It's replaced, like you've got like more room to focus on these vocals, but what the vocals are doing is ridiculous. Tom's just going like and it's so,
I think there were enough other moments in the whole performance to have those mad crazy parts.
I mean, it didn't ruin anything.
No.
But it was such a moment where I was like, wow, I expected them to change things, but this has not suited the set.
Well, there was another thing that they changed, which I wasn't too keen on, which was 15 Step.
Yeah. I was really hoping they'd play 15 Step live, and I liked what they delivered on, but I think just their live limitations sort of sucked out a lot of the texture that's on record. And I was really like looking forward to hearing that with the speaker set we had. Like, there's all those weird like sort of like white noise distorted filter things, and I'm a producer, by the way. Those were gone. We were sort of left with like minimal kick and clap patterns, both digital. Then came all that like really groove-centric drumming, but that sounded fantastic. If anything was consistent about the set, I thought the drums track to track sounded amazing.
The mixing on the drums
so punchy,
great.
so clear.
So in 15 Steps, there's
really
the
good
crowd cheering ambience or sound effect that happens, and everyone did it in the...
They knew!
Yeah, they knew it was coming, and they did it.
I had little moments where just the fact of how many people turned up, I don't think I'd seen that many people in one place at one given time just to witness one thing together. It was really like uniform and inspiring. And Tom York knew that as well. I think he started the set just saying like, wow, there's a lot of people. You could tell, or at least this is what I got from it, that Tom York, some of the material he played, mainly the material that was my least favourite in the Radiohead back catalogue, he was sort of hesitant and like less enthused for. Not like you heard it in his performance, but just like how he would preface like going into the song with. Like Myxomatosis, after the fact, he just said like, that was kind of shit, wasn't it? Something like that. And there was The Bends, which is one of my least favourite songs from The Bends, and he just said like, we've got a little treat for you, as if to say like, we're making an exception here. That we're gonna give you what you want.
That's another thing. The whole set list, from what I've heard, was a callback because of this 20-year anniversary thing they're doing at the moment.
What you mean with Okay Not Okay?
Yeah, which I guess for us is great, because I would have rather that than a whole performance of Moonshaped Pool. And I do really like Moonshaped Pool. It's just an album that I listen to normally when I'm alone at night. So
I haven't heard Moonshaped Pool that much anyway, so I would have been really disconnected from this performance generally. I don't know, I'd rather be used to the songs on record before going into seeing any act live, just so like I have a comparison and reference, like what sounded better on record, what sounded better live. But anyway, this was great for us because most of our favourite Radiohead songs got played for us just like for well over an hour. It was really, really gratifying.
What was funny about this whole thing was Radiohead kept going off after each
You mean the encores?
Yeah, after each like part.
It was confusing.
And it just looked like they were actually finishing the set, because they all stood up, they all waved.
They never said anything final like, thank you everybody, good night, or anything like that. Even towards the end we kind of got that. Like the very last encore.
Well, no, even like, I think the last song was a great closer anyway, because you had the whole crowd singing the line for a minute then, I lost myself. Me and Alfie were just downstairs, like,
at that
belting
point,
it.
we wanted to get down there.
My dad said he could just hear it all sweeping around the stands, like you do in a football ground when they're singing chants and stuff, but it was way more ethereal, I guess you could call it.
I just wanted to say as well, with each one of these encores, I felt like every single song they ended on, before they would come back on, was, I could consider, a solid way to end. Like, just great final note. 2 + 2 = 5. One of my favourite openers for any Radiohead album. They closed on their second encore with Fake Plastic Trees, one of the tracks I actually prefer more from the Bends. Then they ended their second encore with Karma Police, one of everybody's favourite Radiohead songs. Like Rowan was saying, we had the whole crowd going on that, like, for a minute there, I lost myself refrain.
Yeah, they wasn't able to do those delayed...
Yeah,
whatever
I think they gave like a small shot to it.
Yeah, no, the guitarist did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just wasn't the same. So we started doing it in the crowd anyway. But
we couldn't hear anyone else doing it. But
no,
that would have been good if the whole audience went on just that.
Yeah.
To talk more about variations from record to live, being able to tell what the song actually was that they were going into was kind of ambiguous. But then, as soon as they started together, as soon as the band got going, everyone in the crowd was just like, yes! What? What's up? With everything in its right place.
The way they came into that was so good. They teased it so hard with the synth.
They did this new synth that didn't sound too much like the one.
It's a lot heavier.
Record. Yeah, a lot brighter as well.
Yeah, just a lot thicker in general, more saturated, and then they just came in with it, and I was like,
Yeah, everyone, the whole crowd was just like, it's erupting. The vocal edits in that track, it's never been highlighted to me more than it has when we saw this live before, but I just started laughing because the edits themselves, the techniques,
they
the
sounded like, it was
techniques.
sort of like a 90s rap. Or a YouTube poop.
Yeah, more like a YouTube poop, because there's just all the warping and like reversing of the samples was just like I just started laughing during the song and I felt so bad. Something that happened that I didn't expect to was live renditions of tracks that I don't really care for that much being reimagined in a way live that just felt more interesting to me. Like there's the visuals for You and Whose Army were so confrontational to me because it was just Tom York's eye just like up to the camera lens. I hope that doesn't throw the focus off. The lyrics going up against just how Tom looked, it was like mostly his eye and he would move out every now and then on some parts of the lyrics, but it's like he was talking directly to me in a really threatening way, and it just kind of changed the way I looked at and listened to that song in that live setting at least. So that was like a surprising moment.
Yeah, there were several light shows that were bloody great as well. With just like, even I can't remember what songs they were on. We took a few pictures.
Oh no, I remember the last passage of 2 + 2 = 5, where they're just going like 0 to 100 on like between the verses. The lighting matched that so well, from going to like this calm blue to just all of these strobes.
Yeah, there was another one
crazy
that I remember in my head where it was like you had all of these spotlights above them, and they were all being shone at the floor, and the cameras were also looking at the floor, so it was like there were stars. Like the spotlights were really concentrated
that was,
and just flickering around.
Oh, what's that single from Moonshaped Pool? Hang on.
Daydreaming.
Yeah. I also liked how you had this, like the screen setup was one big screen in the middle, one on the side, and one on the side. The ones on the side would like had a camera feed of like every band member on stage, but the way they did it, I think was really cool. It was all split
up, like faded into each other.
All of the clips were like fragmented and put together in this really cool way. What I thought was really cool as well was that they didn't just have a feed of everyone at the same time when they weren't doing anything. They kept the visuals really relevant to the events on stage. So like there were tracks where, I don't know, there was a viola out, or cello, they had Tom York singing, and he was on piano, and those are the only three things occupying the visuals. But just as everything came in, it was just like, it was really faded, it was really like gradual and organic looking.
There was
really nice.
I think the ground actually helped in this a lot, because in this cricket ground you had the boxes, the commercial boxes up top. They have massive windows on, which were really reflective, and I looked back and it just looked beautiful.
Oh yeah,
even
the lights
at this,
going off of
reflection.
It. Oh, it's like the building was on fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but the food was crap. And that's how we'll end again.
Alright. Sure. So unsatisfying.